All right, Rusty, you got to look at the camera for this intro bit. I'm here with the big man at the Rusty Surfboard Factory, and I got a couple questions to ask him, 13 or so. And the first one was, what was the first Rusty I rode and when? I think I was 7 or 8 years old when I rode a hardboard, and it was the Rusty Piranha.
Ah.
Rusty loves that one.
Who do you try to emulate your surfing style? Like who's your, maybe not your favorite surfer, but who do you try to emulate? You know what that word means?
Yeah, I do. I do. It's a big word. It's a big word for my vocabulary. Originally, I tried to emulate like Josh Kerr's style. Like kind of pump down the line and then try doing big air.
Yeah.
So like most people hate it because you're just like missing perfect turn sections
Yeah.
or like out pumping a perfect barrel. Yeah. But I just wanted to like go fast and fly high.
Yeah.
And
Josh is still an amazing surfer.
Yeah, he's gotten better, dude.
Yeah.
Just getting better, minus the fact that he's balding a little bit. But
well.
Oh, come on.
I asked him if he would shave his head. I dared him to shave his head. That was about a year ago, and he still hasn't.
I'm balding a little bit too, bro, but I'm going to keep it going. They got these, like, the new technology these days. Kyle Belly told me, all good, you can go.
Down with dignity, buddy. Down with dignity.
I'm keeping it going. In your opinion, what was the greatest era of surfboard design, Rusty?
I think there's been several. I mean, obviously, the shortboard revolution, which kind of started in 67.
Sick.
Late 67, the magazines were, I think, bi-monthly, 6 a year. Late 67 was still mostly longboard ads. 68, there was a lot of shortboards, a lot of experimentation, and there's still a couple of longboard guys hanging on.
Yeah.
But halfway through 68, you couldn't sell a longboard to save yourself because the revolution was in full steam, and there was the Puerto Rico contest. Fred Hemmings won it on an 8.6, but Reno Abalira was riding a 6-foot-long, 17.5-inch wide board, and Wayne Lynch was riding kind of a semi-double ender, and there's so many. In that world contest in Puerto Rico in 68, there was a variation in boards. Even in 70, when Rolf Fernandez won, but the Aussies were full on into the really short boards. Like Nat had like a 5, Nat's 6'3", and he had like a 5'8". But Rolf Fernandez was riding for Bing, and he won because he had a little bit longer board, and his surfing was good. And then all those great movies like Evolution, Sea of Joy, and Morning of the Earth. Those were all, late 68 through about 1971, 72. And you could see a huge transformation in boards. But, I think there's been periods like with it, when Simon, there were tri-fins before Simon, but, Simon, he won the Bells contest. It was huge, and he was ripping. And then I judged the Pipe Masters.
I like that look,
too. That he came, he won, and people were tripping because everybody was on, I think, single fins, and Simon was on a tri-fin.
Rusty's like an encyclopedia of surf knowledge from like the 60s, 70s, 80s, and 90s. Dude, it's insane. Yeah, what was your favorite era, like designing boards for Rusty?
I've had a pretty good time for the last 55 years, so. Right now I'm having a great time, because there's, people are starting to realize that what the pros ride is one thing, but hey, I can have a lot more fun with a little bit more foam. And I can have a lot more fun maybe on a twin fin or a quad. Their minds are starting to open up a little bit. And,
I like that C5 design you did. When did you come up with the C5?
Well, I worked with Will Jobs, and I got in touch with Will, and I said, Will, I'm really interested in your design. I'd be happy to work out something where I pay you royalties for all the Twinsers I sell. And so I worked with him for a couple of years. But in 1995, Dick Carroll was editor of Surfing Magazine, and he reached out to me and a few other shapers and said, make me something futuristic. And I thought, well, okay. So I took the Twinser and I put a smaller trailing fin on it. That's the C5, the C5 fins, yeah. And it had, 4 semi-deep channels off the tail. And Nick loved it.
My favorite era of riding Rusty boards? Dude, that's hard to say. To be honest, I think maybe the best is yet to come. Like, with all this waveful shit, you can ride a board that's, way smaller than what you'd ride in the ocean. But I also do, look back at those old surf movies where guys were riding, 6'2", 6'4", and nowadays guys are on 5'8", 5'9", and I kind of, wish I would have rode way longer, narrower, knifey boards and done more drawn out turns and worked on my rail game as a Grom. but it's hard to say. They're all good arrows. They're all like amazing arrows. And favorite rusty that he ever made me. Dude, there were so many. Earlier on, I had a Hustler that was like magic, a Traveler, and a Slayer that I got like the best barrels ever on. More recently, the SD is just like my favorite all-around board.
What's up with Matt Biolas?
Dude, Matt Biolas, nice guy.
Well, no, I watched this. I saw this video of you in
him
Indo,
praising me?
and you were Skip, and you. I mean,
Oh, I had a Lost.
You had a lot, but then there was another video with somebody, a top surfer that had a Lost, and I go, and there's a Lost surf shop. I go, what the fuck? Do you have to ride a Lost if you're gonna surf the spot? I like Matt.
Yeah, Matt likes you too. Matt always has good things to say about Rusty.
But I'm just going, come on, he's got such a good team. What the fuck are you going after Zeke for? At first, I thought he was bullshitting me.
The honest truth was...
He was telling the truth, I think.
Yeah, dude, the guys in Indo that are Lost, they loved me and they were hooking me up with free boards and kind of putting in a good word. And then a month later, I went to that Stab High in Japan.
Yeah.
And Biolas, before the event, was bragging to me. He's like, yeah, we're doing pretty good selling boards. We got all the top CT athletes. We got the best free surfers in the world. And I ended up smoking all of the Lost guys.
Yeah.
And I think, like, finally, like, was really on Matt Biolas' radar. So, yeah.
No, it's obvious he's a great shaper. He's a good guy, actually. He comes across a little gruff or whatever, but he's a pussycat.
Let's keep it light. Blondes or brunettes?
Redheads. Real redheads.
I never would have seen that one coming, dude.
Real redheads.
All right, who was your favorite team rider, and who was your least favorite team rider?
Okay. Well, I mean, Aki, he was 16 when I made him his first board. And for a couple of years, I mean, every board I made him, he loved. He rode, he won, and he was, he was turning surfing upside down. And, Tom Carroll came in and he goes, well, if I can't beat him, I got to join him. Would you make me some boards? So Tom gives me credit for his second world title.
No way.
Yeah, it's an article in Australian Magazine about it.
All right, dude, we got to hear a lease. Just put somebody under the chopping block.
You're a dick. Complete dick. PT said, we're going to sign, we're going to give him a good paycheck, and he's going to only have our logo on the boards. And that was pretty cool, because for a while, all the shots, he just had art on his boards.
Big art on.
So, I made him his first batch of boards. I had my new house in the shores, and I had a guest house, and he shows up, and I check out your boards, and he kind of goes, ugh. So Rick Hammond made all his boards. He didn't like mine.
You're kidding.
Little motherfucker.
Hey, you got to give him some props for telling you how it is straight up, right?
That's
Instead
true.
of beating around the bush.
Yeah, I guess that's true,
Another question for you. What was your favorite surf trip you ever went on?
Well, my first trip to Tabaroo, I think it was like 86.
When's the last time you went to Tabaroo?
About 8 or 9 years ago.
Okay.
In my first couple of trips to Tabaroo, I was going in the fall, and it was after the season. And I asked Dave Clark, well, when's the best time for restaurants? He goes, early mid-April through July. And so the next year I got a spot in mid-April. I think it was my fourth trip. And the restaurants is insane. For decades, I was going 2 or 3 times a year. I've been there over 50 times.
That's sick.
And how do you think that's affected your career?
Dude, I've been sober 6 years now, almost 7, and I was a punk kid with no respect, was just like running from my problems and trying to fill a void. I got incarcerated and was convicted of a couple felonies and a couple misdemeanors. Kind of lost it all, lost relationships with my family, lost all my sponsors, and nobody wanted to touch me. And Rusty actually had to hold me accountable and call me up one day and drop me. He said, dude, until you get your shit together, we're not sponsoring you anymore. He's like, you're a good kid and we love you, but you're fucking up. I'll never forget that because I rode for Rusty since I was like 12 years old, sponsored by the surf shop. And then when I was 16 or 17, got a contract with a clothing company and to ride for Rusty boards and Rusty clothes, and get dropped from like, I don't know, like the guy that I looked up to and the company that I loved. It was like a big eye-opening experience. And then jail honestly was like a blessing in disguise because it really made me like have to get my shit together. Being sober has been like the best thing that's ever happened to me. I would not have the career I have today if I wasn't sober. I wouldn't have the friends I have today. I wouldn't have the family I have today. Like, so many people helped guide me along the way. And a lot of people like taught me just like how to be a man and tools to like cope with life. And it's pretty crazy, dude. The people that are still like by my side because I'm sober, you couldn't even pay for friends like that. It's pretty